Hi everybody, welcome back to the Emery's Memories channel. I'm your announcer, Gary Beatty. We've been showing you videos given to us by the LeGarde Twins of Sydney, Australia. Now we're going to show you a video from Nashville's own Dan Miller, who sat down with the LeGarde Twins and shared some memories in this book. What I'm holding is an incredible book by the LeGarde Twins called Showbiz Hustlers. I'll tell you more about the book and how you can get a copy after the video.
Miller and Company continues live from Nashville. Once again, Mr. Dan Miller.
I like that, Mike. Mr. Dan Miller has a good ring to it. We're back. Our guests for this half, the LeGarde Twins, Tom and Ted. Nice to have you here, guys.
Oh, nice to be with you, Dan.
From Australia, right?
Thank you, Dan. Yes, from North Queensland,
Yeah.
a little place called Mackay, Queensland. That's in the northern part, where the people go north for the winter, not like over here, they go south for the
Just
winter.
the reverse. Yeah. Now, you don't live there now.
No.
Well, the farm is still in existence. It's in, we have about 102 LeGardes back there, you know. And
LeGarde.
LeGarde, yeah. And Dad supposedly was from France. Mum came from England. And they met, and they were two of the pioneering people in Australia. We're the youngest of 9.
Do you go back there often?
We would just come back from a big festival there early June of this year. We go back every year.
You still have family there?
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Brothers and sisters and cousins. And
But you live now in Tennessee?
in
do you?
Hendersonville, yeah, we moved.
Right outside of Nashville.
And we have our own live country music theater there, Dan, out at the Music Village, USA, just across the street from Twitty City. And we opened there in April and doing great business.
Big music theater.
Well, what we did, we converted a big cafeteria into a very intimate 150-seat theater.
Okay, that is
with
intimate.
a gift and craft shop and snack bar, and we accommodate the tourists that come into town, because we were in Branson last year for almost 6 months, and since we live in Hendersonville, we thought, well, we'll put a nice little country music theater, and people are craving for live country music when they come to Nashville. That's
Right.
one of the reasons we put it in, was we had a bunch of people that came into town. They were here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they couldn't see any live country music. So we said, hey, wait a minute, let's put some...
I think this is a movement that's taking place where live theater is going to become more and more prevalent in Nashville.
I hope so, Dan, because Nashville needs live country music, because, you know, it still is the music capital of the world, you know, country music.
How often do you perform there?
2 shows a day. We're at 11 a.m. in the morning and 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Sometimes we'll put on a midday show if they say some of the buses bring maybe 20, 30 people, whatever. They can be guaranteed that we'll put on a show for them.
Is it important at this point that we know, and I feel I haven't asked this, who's Tom and who's Ted?
Well,
I'm Tom. I'm older by half an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're Tom.
I'm Tom.
All right. Tom on your right and Ted on your left.
Matter of fact, when we were babies, Mum used to put a tag on me because I would drink my bottle and grab his, so she called me Bully Tom, you know.
Yeah. Does that hold true to this day?
No, I don't think so, Dan. You know, we say we are the youngest of 9 children, 7 boys and 2 girls.
Our mum didn't know that 9 meant no in German, you know.
Okay, well that explains that.
No, when she had us, she quit because she ran out of names to call our dad. That was it.
Yeah.
No more.
Did any of your brothers, sisters, any of them, did they go into music?
No.
They developed the habit of eating regularly, you know, so they said
A little security in life.
Yeah, you know.
We're the only ones that got into show business, Dan, and we used to walk 13 miles to see our hero, Hopalong Cassidy, and of course Roy Rogers and Gene Autry.
And this was in Australia?
Yes.
All those old Hopalong Cassidy and Gene Autry movies played there, right?
Yes.
Oh, he was the biggest. When Hoppy came to Australia 30 years ago, there were 10,000 people at the Sydney airport to meet him. No one has ever surpassed his welcome. Not the president, not the Queen, not any of the Beatles, or anybody.
Wow.
He was so popular. And in Melbourne, there were 15,000 people that mobbed him. And we were just looking at some old clips from the New York Times. It says, Hopalong Cassidy mobbed by 15,000 fans in Melbourne, and we happened to be there.
Is country music still as big in Australia as it is here? And let me ask you this, is it current?
Very,
when
very
something's
current.
on the chart here, is it on the chart?
No, not necessarily so. You see, there isn't, over here you have country music stations that play country music 24 hours a day. They don't have that in Australia. It's mixed up. They'll play a Frank Sinatra record, then they may play a Charlie Pride record, and then a Beatles record. There's no such, there's no one format in Australia.
In the
That's
country
odd.
format.
Yeah. Are there a lot of stations? Because you'd think
Well,
it would soon evolve to
There's about
specialize.
150 radio stations in the entire country of Australia. Understand, Australia geographically is the same size as America. We have 6 states with only 17.5 million people.
And yet, at the Country Music Festival in Tamworth of a January, Dan, they get over anywhere between 25 and 30,000 fans on a 10-day event at Tamworth out of 17 million people. So that's give you some
That's
concept.
good. That's actually more, I think, than attend the
Fanfare here.
fanfare here.
Yes.
So that's very impressive.
And we just got back from Geneva, Switzerland, and cowboy Kurt Hans is a promoter over there. This was his 3rd big country music festival, and this year he was celebrating his 10th anniversary of being in the Western business, so to speak. He has a big Western store there. But
In Geneva.
In Geneva, Switzerland, yeah. And he had a big tent that seated almost 2,000 people, and he flew over like 19 Indians. He had the cowboys, the Indians, and country music, square dancing, and it was a tremendous success.
I got to take a break. The LeGarde Twins are our guests. We'll be back. We'll take your calls, and I have more questions after this.
Running down a dream, together searching for the rainbow's end. Brothers, we will always be a team, and we'll always stay the very best of friends. When we were kids, he'd always tag behind me, and no matter what I did, he'd do the same. If I hummed a little tune, he'd add a harmony, and Mama'd say those kids were born to entertain.
Our guests are the LeGarde Twins, Tom and Ted, from Australia. Well, actually, they live here in Tennessee now. You really are identical twins.
Yes, we are.
I mean, you're about as close as you can get to looking the same.
Yeah, you know, and we get along well because, you know, we have our differences too, you know. But I've always said, you know, if brothers can't get along, Dan, there's no hope for the world, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've heard that identical twins, things happen to them like they will dream the same dream, or the same sudden fear might cross their minds. Do those kind of things happen?
That's true too. And you know, we had the great privilege of meeting Elvis Presley.
Oh, did you?
Backstage one time and talked to him for about 10 minutes at the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel. We made our debut there in 1973. And Elvis came in there twice while we were at the Hilton. And he told us that, you know, he had a twin brother.
A twin who was...
Jesse died, yes.
Died at birth, yeah.
And he told Ted and I that we were very fortunate that we had each other, and that sometimes he would talk to his shadow. And that he had kind of had this extrasensory perception, you know, and felt. What a gracious man he was.
You love this. You know, our wives get mad at as Tom and I sometimes. We'll go out for dinner, the 4 of us. Now, I have no idea, and this is true. I explained to them I didn't call Tom, and he didn't call me, and we'll both be wearing the same outfits.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now,
And they say, "Oh no, you called him and told him what you were going to wear." I said, "No, it didn't happen that way."
Now let me ask you this: whoops! I just knocked your bottle of wine over.
Oh, it's okay.
Didn't break. That's for you from Andrew. I'll give it to you. When you're growing up, when you're teenagers, and you're just getting interested in women, did you have the same taste, taste in women, or even the same woman for that matter?
Well, we used to switch dates. You know, I mean, we really would.
One would go out for the other.
One night.
Boy, I bet there's some interesting stories there.
Might be watching it. But we had a lot of fun. But being twins is kind of special. There's over 17 million sets of twins in the world. And, you know, the climatic conditions determine how many twins are born every hour. And twins are fascinating. And sometimes people don't understand the closeness of twins, not even our wives sometimes. And my love for my wife is totally different to my love for my brother Ted, or for my parents, or other brothers and sisters.
But you were attracted to the same type of women growing up.
No different. Ted's married to a tall blonde, and I'm married to a former Miss Louisiana. Yeah. And she's short, and well, she's 5'3", she's not short, and she's a beautiful woman.
And we have, it's a family operation at our theater, Dan. Sharon is out in the ticket office. She sells the tickets. And Tom and I take care of the entertainment section. And then Tom's wife, Diane, runs the snack bar.
Oh, yeah?
Why don't you come out and see us
I will
sometime,
do that.
Dan? Because
I'll sure do that.
we have 2 shows, 11 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. every day, and we just love to entertain. Our wives don't understand. And we know we're not in it for the money.
Yeah.
Now, that
So,
may
so I
sound
can get in free then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, when I say for the money, no. When you go back to the traditional country stars, Marty Robbins, Hank Williams, Ernest Tubb, all the great people, back in those days, money wasn't, I mean, we didn't get into the business because of the motivation for money. We got in because the love of the business, and we still do it.
We would have performed in front of a fast-moving train, Dan, if we knew we wouldn't get killed, you know.
Just to do it, yeah.
But now it's big megabucks.
Yeah.
You know, country music grossed the record sales over 4.3 billion last year. So it's a tremendous business.
If you had, in Australia when you're growing up, if there had not been country music on the radio and you'd not been exposed to it, do you think you would have been attracted to whatever music was there? If it'd been jazz or
I
opera,
think so.
would you have gone into music anyhow?
I think so, yeah. Because the teacher at school would say to the various kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we'd say, we want to be singing cowboys because Hopalong Cassidy that was the first movie we had ever seen, was a Hopalong Cassidy movie, and the first music we were exposed to was like Jimmy Rogers, the Blue Yodeler, Hank Williams Sr. So we were exposed to the country. Now, if it had been jazz, I think we still had gone into show business, because we just loved to.
We had a feel for it.
We loved to entertain, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a love for classic music and for ballet. I like all kinds of music. The only kind of music I just don't understand that much is jazz. But our first love is country music, because it's a music that expresses the feelings of everybody and in their experiences.
Yeah, there's something about it. There's something about the chord structure and the melodies of country music that just sets easy on your mind.
We got time to see the chorus? Or you got to go to
Let me
commercial?
take a break and we'll let you do another one.
Okay.
Tom and Ted, the LeGarde Twins, will do a song, and I promise you some of your calls coming up when we come back. LeGarde Twins, Tom and Ted. Tom
Yes.
has his guitar in his hand, and they're going to do something here for us. What's this?
From New South Wales to Nashville, it's a long, long way to go. With a country song you can sing along and a guitar hanging low. From continent to continent, singing country songs we know. From New South Wales to Nashville, it's a long, long way to go.
All right, LeGarde. Let's see quickly here what's on some people's minds. I promise we'd take some calls. This is Lethbridge, Canada. Elsie, you're on the air with Tom and Ted.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Ted. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Elsie.
How you doing, love?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic. Enjoying life and having a lot of fun.
And I'm just delighted to be on Dan's show.
Well, I'm delighted I got through to talk to you guys. I was wondering what happened to you. I've got a record of yours from years ago, and mind you, you look just as good now as you did then.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you know what they say about age, you know, when you're young, you can run a 100-yard dash, they time you with a stopwatch. As you get a little older, they use an hourglass or a calendar. So we're into the hourglass right now.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. Now, I was wondering if you guys are touring.
No, we have our own country music theater at the Music Village, USA, doing 2 shows a day.
So you're staying home most of the time.
Yes.
Thank you, Elsie. Appreciate the call. Wichita, Kansas. Doug, you're on the air with the LeGarde Twins.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi,
Doug.
Well, it's kind of odd watching you on TV and talking on the telephone. So, listen, I visited Perth, Australia in 1971 via Vietnam, and I got a chance to hear you guys.
Is that right? Great.
And I was wondering, back then it was more rock and roll than country, because I was a hillbilly from Tennessee, and do you think that country is going to be becoming more popular in Australia now?
Absolutely, because people like Garth Brooks and Billy Ray Cyrus, they're breaking down all kind of barriers, and that's going to influence the younger demographics. Yes, Doug, it is.
Before we run out of time here, let me ask you, we mentioned you were on Star Trek.
Yes, that was an exciting. We were doing
On Star Trek?
Yes.
Not in Star Trek.
That was interesting that you just about being in a movie and on TV.
Yeah. You were on TV, right?
We were doing an Hollywood play called The World of Carl Sandburg. It was a 2-act play that, matter of fact, Betty Davis and Gary Merrill performed on Broadway for 2 years. And William Shatner came to our opening night. And he came backstage, and of course he knew Ed Ludlam, the producer and director. And he said, hey, how'd you guys like to do an episode on Star Trek? We said, doing what? He said, well, we're looking for male twins to play androids. We said, great. So they had 3 sets of girl twins, and we were the only male twins.
There you are.
In an episode called Planet Mud. So you Trekkies out there, you may remember Planet Mud.
Wow, from the original TV series of Star Trek. Now, did you get to be beamed up or anything like that?
No, we didn't.
we used to go out there and watch Leonard Nimoy have his ears done up every morning. He had a lot of patience to sit in that chair, and the makeup man. But everybody on the set, what lovable people.
Boy, do you ever see it run back and rerun?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Those, those things will be going forever. Boy.
Right.
Now, what's the poster? We have a poster we wanted to show.
Oh, hey, Ted and I, we've been forging a common bond between Australia and America for over 30 years, and Ted and I were on the board of directors of the Academy of Country Music. And we were 2 of the very first life members, along with Billy and Tommy Thomas from the Palomino Club, and Marty Lander that used to manage Marty Robbins, and what was it, the girl that had Happiest Girl?
Oh, Donna Fargo was secretary then.
And so this is the first edition of the collector card series put out by the Academy of Country Music, and we were thrilled that we were included in the first edition.
Oh, that's very nice. Let's see if we can squeeze one more call here from Huntingburg, Indiana. Ed, you're on the air with the LeGarde Twins.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
One thing I'd like to ask, which one of the 2 can handle the bullwhip?
I'm the one with the bull. I'm the one that knocked the ash of the cigarette when Bill Cosby held a cigarette at the Las Vegas Hilton back in 1974. Ed, if you were here and held a cigarette, I'd do it with you.
You popped a cigarette out of Bill Cosby's mouth?
Yes,
with
sir.
This thing?
we had a lot of chutzpah, a lot of courage to walk right in the middle of his act. But he had just come back from Australia and loved Australia, and we'd met him in the coffee shop, and right in the middle of the act, we walked out, and he got Bill to hold a cigarette, and Ted popped the ash right off the cigarette.
In the middle of his act.
Right.
Man,
You come out to the theater, Dan, we'll get you to hold the cigarette.
Yeah, right, we'll do that, Ted. The LeGarde Twins are our guests. We'll be back. One more break here. Stay with us. We're back. The LeGarde Twins, Tom and Ted are our guests. We're down to a minute. You had a syndicated show last year. What's the thing called? Down Home, Down Under. Is that still going on?
No, we experimenting. It was a two-way musical trade and a cultural exchange between America and Australia. We were introducing Australian acts over here and American acts in America. And we had such a low budget, but it's one of those things, a show either catches on or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
you enjoy it?
Oh, we loved it.
That's what's important.
Yeah, we loved it.
Thanks for doing this, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank
We
you,
really
Dan.
appreciate
Thanks,
you having
Tom.
us on.
What a great classic one-on-one interview with Ted and Tom, the LeGarde Twins. I want to tell you about their book, The LeGarde Twins, Showbiz Hustlers. Let me take you back to the beginning. These twin boys walked 15 miles across the bushlands of Australia to a tent with a dirt floor and folding chairs. As the projector started up, the movie appeared in black and white on the screen, and there for the first time, they saw Hopalong Cassidy. They ran almost all the way home and told their mom, "We're going to become cowboy singers." Let me read the introduction to Showbiz Hustlers. Being raised in the bushlands of Australia in the 1930s and 40s was a rough and hard life. We didn't think about it back then because that's how life was. You have to live the hard life to understand it. But we also made a picture in our minds of the kind of life we wanted to lead, and it became a beacon that has guided us on our long journey in show business. We hope and pray that our book falls into the hands of our fellow strugglers and dreamers to give them unfailing encouragement to pursue their hopes and dreams. Above all else, we want to give God all the praise and glory for our long lives and for His mercy and grace in dealing with us throughout the years. So grab the reins and ride over 1 million miles with us from the bushlands of Australia across 7 continents through 23 countries and 45 of the 50 states in America. Let's ride. Ted and Tom LeGarde. They appeared in Vegas, movies, and TV shows. And for you Trekkies out there, get this. This book is packed with pictures and stories and is a must-read. We'll put a link below the video so you can get your copy of the LeGarde Twins Showbiz Hustlers. The LeGarde Twins Showbiz Hustlers makes a great gift. This book is about twin brothers from Australia who had a dream, and it came true. This is Gary Beatty, and as Ted and Tom LeGarde would say, "G'day, mate."